Budgeting at Performance Boards, Inc., presented by John DeMarco, Joe Boysenalt, Brecken Ketch, Josh DeGrave, and Stephanie Solarius. As the chair of the Information Technology Steering Committee for Performance Boards Incorporated, we are sitting through the annual budgeting process. The budgeting process for performance boards consists of calling for projects, hearing business cases, then the reviews of the proposals and presented cases. The general culture of the budgeting process is that if you pitch it, you get it. However, this year it seems that there are some differences of opinion regarding how much of the total budget should be spent on information systems. As revenue declines, so does the budget, which means less money gets allocated to the projects and initiatives. Executives from varying departments give their cases on how their strategic initiatives will provide the business with the most return on investment, or ROI. The questions we have are how can we get better at budgeting decisions and decision making as a business without alienating other executives or department leaders? As the process does need work, we still need to figure out how to make it work. Then we analyze the potential issues we see in the budgeting process and what improvements can be made for the next budgeting cycle.
So what should we do next? Well, let's review what's happened so far. So I'm the CIO at the Performance Boards Incorporated, and we're having a discussion about distributing different financial, assets, money to different departments depending on what they feel like they need more of, or what they need the money to do. We are handing out budgeting money for different projects. So the CEO wants 3% or 3.3% of the revenue for the IT department. He claims this is industry standard. So far, there's an HR project and an inventory project that is a go so far. The vice president of human resources as well wants some more employee benefits. The COO wants to invest in manufacturing, and that presents a pretty high return on investment. And then there's some sales and accounting departments that want some system upgrades. Obviously, there's probably going to be more than just those departments listed that want money to upgrade their systems or to, make the work process more efficient, but we need to be careful with where we allocate this money. So I think we should establish some priorities. Return on investment is high, especially considering this is the third year of declining growth and declining sales that this company has exhibited in the past 3 years. That's not good. So we want to put our money where it's actually going to make us money. The IS department, the IT department is certainly very important, as we've discussed, in various times in this class, how the importance of data analytics and information systems and how that can impact a business such positively. I think we also need to discuss some, more realistic things as well, like what is satisfying the employees' benefits going to have as high of a return on investment as making a new marketing system, for example. These are things that we have to discuss and we have to calculate. So once we get the basic ideas from other departments down, we should ask them how they would specifically implement this money if they were to, and then figure out which of those projects is going to be most worthwhile.
What are some of the options at our disposal to ensure that we do not alienate our colleagues? First thing that comes to mind is reasoning the decisions based on the IT costs. Legacy applications require a larger portion of IT budget, and prioritizing and upgrading these oldest applications are prioritized, such as the HR application. Another option is for them to offer a option other than ROI. They had mentioned that they could just pull an ROI out of thin air, but if that does not work with their business case, they can also offer a NPV, net present value, return on assets, the payback period of the upgrade for this system. All those can help us decide in our decision making what we want to spend our 3.3% revenue on. Another option is the value of heuristics. We also got to explain to them that, hey, while we may have not decided to work on your project at this time, there is the option down the road that we will be constantly reevaluating the costs and benefits during the project development of these other systems. And if we see that we would be better off using our resources and time in a different application, that they may be up for the decision making and be able to be kind of bumped in line. But currently, we have to go what is proven and what is oldest to go with our upgrades.
Are there any structural problems with the budgeting process at Performance Boards, Inc.? To answer this simply, yes, there are. If you want to look in depth about what issues there are, first we should look at the steering committee and their purpose. They are in charge of looking at the preliminary proposals sent to them by each functional area. Then they hear a pitch from each sponsor on why the project that they brought should be given funding. Then the steering committee has to decide which ones out of the group are the most important and bring them to the executive team, which approves nearly every proposal. This is where the first issue is. What is the purpose of having a steering committee and an executive team if what the steering committee decides is practically the final say? Having two committees that do the same thing is wasting time and energy. When talking to Robbie Naish, some of the more prevalent problems got laid out. The process of approving the budget for the year is a very competitive process that shuts down a lot of ideas if they can't prove that they will be a good investment for the company. This can benefit certain ideas while making others not really have a chance at all to be approved. By focusing only on the numbers, a project that may be important for reasons other than getting the company to be more productive or to make them more money will never get a chance. But with 64% of the budget already going towards information system function, there isn't much money left around to go towards every project. This is a major issue and makes the process very cutthroat. This also creates divisions between sponsors and managers who have to fight for their proposals to win.
What improvements would we suggest for next year, if any? To begin with this question, I think we need a more enhanced ROI analysis. We need to encourage functional areas like accounting and sales to refine their business cases with measurable ROI metrics. This can involve developing standardized methods for calculating ROI that align with each department's objectives and outcomes. Another thing we can do is develop a more transparent project evaluation criteria. Defining and communicating clear evaluation criteria for project selection, considering factors beyond just simply ROI. We need to include strategic alignment, risk assessment, impact on customer experience, and potential innovation in the criteria. The current system is kind of funneled in, and it could definitely be expanded. The last thing I would say is to change our IT budget allocation strategy. The current one is not too flexible, so I think developing a more flexible IT budget allocation strategy that allows for dynamic adjustments based on evolving business needs and market conditions. Consider allocating funds based on strategic imperatives rather than the current system of fixed percentages.
In conclusion, our suggestions to the broader executive team and budgeting oversight team at performance boards consist of 1. Reassessing the budgeting process. What key performance metrics or KPIs should we use to allocate budget? What method of investment outlook should we be using? The entire budgeting process should be reassessed for accuracy, precision, and accountability. Josh and John made this point regarding clarity in the evaluation process. 2. Reassessing those involved in the budgeting process. Brecken noted this perfectly in that it doesn't make sense to have a steering committee and an executive board to both attempt to advocate or make decisions regarding budget, especially when both of them may have hidden agendas or alliances that bias their budgeting allocation decisions. 3. Lastly, Josh and Joe made this point clear in that we don't necessarily have to use ROI to make budgeting decisions, and if we do, the analysis of the data provided should be sound. There should be no culture of, quote-unquote, I can make up an ROI number. Making up numbers for the sake of hopefully earning more funds for projects that could be faulty is a core principle in the finance fraud triangle.